Hi everybody and welcome back to Happening News. So today what I thought I'd speak about is the England cricket team's tour of Australia. Now, I've spoken to a lot of my friends over the years about the England Test match team. I never complain about the God, my hair's a mess today. About the one day team or T20 team. Always complaining about the Test match team. Now, I've never played cricket at club level, as in county level. Played it at village team level, so to speak. Okay, so I have played for clubs in the past, okay, which I enjoyed for many years. It was absolutely great fun. So I've got a bit of a view on being able to complain at the end of the day. And this is my problem. This is my issue. Because I remember when I first started playing that my team, my captain, or one of the captains that I played under, I remember him many years ago saying to me, if you can't defend, you can't play. Learn to defend and then worry about getting picked. Because if you can't defend an over or 2 overs or 3 overs, you're going to be out in no time. Because all they got to do is get that ball on target and you're out. End of story. And it's as simple as that. Now, my problem with the England Test match team, but if you take Joe Root out, let's forget about Joe Root, okay? And it's typical that my phone goes off whilst I'm talking. Okay, if you forget about Joe Root, okay, because he's probably the only one that I can give a bit of credit for, okay, because he can defend. If he had the necessity that his captain said to him, right, Joe, we're in the trenches. We're going to lose this test match. We're going to lose the series. I need you to stay out there all day to save a test match. Think of Michael Atherton out in the West Indies. Had to save a test match. Had to bat all day. Okay. Would he be able to do it? Joe Root, I would be willing to put my money on he would be able to do that. Now, the question is, if you look at the rest of the team, okay, that's been playing in the West Indies, okay, would I be able to? Zach Crawley, no, because he tries to drive all the time and gets himself out. Ben Duckett, absolutely useless. Ollie Pope, nope. Harry Brook, not really. And Ben Stokes, no. Now, my problem with that team, so that's the main batsman. I forget about the bowlers. So when I look at batting, I've always gone by, in your first innings, you should be looking at late 350, so somewhere around about 370, 380 mark, to the early part of 400 as your first innings. Bare minimum. Which means your opening pair should be looking at putting on 100 before the first wicket. Okay. Your batsman, okay, to be able to call yourself a decent batsman, in my view, this is my personal view, and this is how I got brought up, that your batsman should be averaging 40 plus. If you're averaging less than that, I'm sorry to say it, and I'm sorry for the language, you're shit. And I know people are going to have a go at me and say, Kevin, you can't go and say that about England batsmen. But the problem is, I'm sorry to say this, but apart from Joe Root, what is that? Because Zach Crawley, if I was to go and look him up to see what his average is. You know, what's his average? 31. You know, can you actually put hand on heart? You know, and he's been in the England team for quite a while. You know, is that a good average? No, it's not. It's absolutely useless. You know, Ben Duckett, I'm just getting his average up at the moment. Okay. Test match cricket, early 40s. He's at 41.35. So I'll cut him a bit of slack. You know, so that's a relative. That's where I expect him to be. That's where Zach Crawley should be. If he's averaging early 30s, there's an argument. But they should be looking at dropping him and finding somebody else that can do the job. You know, Ollie Pope, where's he going to be? You know, knowing my luck, I'm probably not going to be able to find his actual average. You know, because, you know, when I was growing up, and it's going to be, you know, Ollie Pope, 35.36. It's shit. That's your first three batsmen. You know, you're going to forget about Joe Root. And then you're going to be going straight to Ben Stokes. You know, so you're going to be expecting Ben Stokes to have an average of over 40. Because then you're going to be questioning, why is he in there as a main batsman? Okay, so let's have a look. Where is he? Matches run scored. 35.36. Yet again, it's absolutely rubbish. Let's have a look for Harry Brook. You know, and then that's a case of, we've basically looked at all the batsmen. So, come on, Harry, give me a decent average. He's currently at 55. So that's okay. So you've got two batsmen, okay, which is Joe Root and Harry Brook with decent averages. You got Ben Duckett, which is just okay. And then you got two, which are absolutely rubbish. And I'm sorry to say it. It is absolutely rubbish. And the problem is, when I was growing up, okay, you had Michael Atherton, Graham Gooch, Robin Smith, God rest his soul, my hero, Graham Thorpe, Alec Stewart, Graham Hick, you know, all of these. And you could probably run off loads more. Nasser Hussain, you know, there was loads of them that are averaging 40 plus over a long period. We're not talking about a short period, but a long period. You know, Alan Lamb, David Gower, you know, all averaging mid 40s. And you got this team because, and this is where the fundamental problem is, they don't care about Test match cricket. That's not where their money is. And this is why England is so bad. It's because they're more concerned with one-day cricket and T20, because that is where they're going to make their money. And unless these players can learn to bat and learn how to defend, it's going to carry on like this. What would happen if they went to India or they went to Pakistan? Because I can see that it would end up like this. Because the way that they've batted so far, it's awful. It's nothing to be proud of. You know, would I be able to look at my son in the eyes and say, look, son, I know we lost, but we did our best. Can they actually say that? And I don't think that they can. Okay. So what I'm going to say for now, because obviously, otherwise I'm going to go on a tangent and rant, because it really does annoy me, because I've been saying this for years. I've probably been saying this for a decade. But the problem with England is they're more concerned as in the players, because back in the day, you know, go 90s and before, the best test of a batsman, not talking about bowlers, but batsmen, was Test match cricket. And I think one of the problems, also another one of the problems that England have had, they've had 3 good bowlers that have managed to cover the shortcomings of the batsmen. And whether these batsmen like it or not, go and share it with them. You know, make them see this, you know, and face up to how bad that they actually are. Was Chris Stokes, retired. Jimmy Anderson, retired. And the great Stuart Broad, and I say great because he is a Forest supporter just like me. Okay, them 3 batsmen, them 3 bowlers covered all their shortcomings. So they were able to get teams out cheaply. And whether they had somebody like a Jofra Archer or a Chris Wood, a real quick bowler, when they're basically swinging it at the end of the day, that's what you needed. Because they covered for them. So the question is, what needs to be done about these batsmen? Because you don't want a whitewash where we lose all the Test matches and the series is lost before Christmas. You don't want that. You know, we'll become the biggest laughing stock at the end of the day, which we already are when it comes to social media. So let us know in the comments down below what you think. But for now, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.